90% of brain development happens in the first 5 years of life.
Wow.
So every experience, every moment matters, not to put more pressure on parents of young children, right?
Yeah.
But everything matters, and the more different things you expose children to, the more those synapses. We're born with 100 billion neuron cells in our brains.
Wow.
And what happens is we get in the world, we have this 100 billion cells sitting there, and the way that they develop into a functioning brain is experiences. And every experience builds synapses between these cells, and those are the foundation for all the learning and everything that happens afterwards. So creating joyful learning, someone who is a joyful learner wants to learn, just like those kids in that video.
Yeah.
You could tell that they're curious, they want to know. Any experience like that that's happening is building towards a better functioning brain in adulthood. I say all the time, it's like building a house, that foundation.
Wow,
and
yeah.
what we're learning is that foundation really is about 90% set by the age of 5.
Crazy.
So before they ever hit kindergarten, their brains have done the massive amount of developing. So even if it's not your child, I do this when I'm out like at restaurants and I see a child, I wave, I interact, because every little moment makes a difference for children.
I love that. My parents have always said that your brain isn't fully formed until you're, what, 26? Is that
well,
still
that's
a thing?
the prefrontal cortex.
Okay, so that's still a thing.
Yes, that is definitely still a thing. And that's the part of our brain that makes decisions.
Okay.
And that can't come fully online if all the other parts haven't built underneath it. So yes, and especially usually your brothers are a little later than your sisters on the prefrontal cortex development, which those of us that raise adult children know that instinctively.
Yeah.
But yes, it's I mean, that used to be that when you rented a car, your rates were higher for young men until the age of 25 if they could even run them at all, and that was because of behaviors that prefrontal cortex brings in judgment, and they call it executive function, the ability to kind of make rational risk decisions. So driving down the interstate at 100 miles an hour is not a rational risk decision that an adult understands, but to a younger teenager, kind of, you know, it seems like the reward's worth the risk. That all evolves in the early 20s, but the massive amount of brain development is before the age of 5, and that's just not something we know, but it's really picking up steam. My former home state, Virginia, just started 90 to 5, and it's about 90% of the brain being developed at 5. I've read stuff Florida's doing. We've got First Steps, which is a great organization in South Carolina. So
awesome. Well, Karen, thank you so much as always for being
here.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to play with this.
Don't forget to head out on Saturday, guys. See ya.
Yeah. See you then.